Hey guys, I'm Eric.
I'm Glenda.
Mine.
What?
Huh?
I'm Tim.
And we are D&D Miniature and Board Games. So,
Right.
we finished playing Argo, and it is a fun game. Considering it was, what, €30 or something like that? For those of you who aren't familiar with our system, we do a 1 through 5. Each of us gives a different score for 5 different categories. We categorize it in graphics and artwork, rulebook, components, replayability, and fun. A 3 being an average. It's not good, it's not bad, it's in the middle. 5 being outstanding, 1 being the worst piece of crap we've ever seen in our lives. We've actually given some 1s too, folks. Final Fantasy Flight Games.
So, first and foremost, let's give these guys a formal introduction. It's Argo by Flatlined Games. It's a 2-4 player. I can't even say
semi-cooperative game.
Yeah, but it's not a scenario based.
No, it's not scenario based.
It has one. It has several methods of winning, but there are no scenarios, and we'll explain to you why as we're doing our scoring. And you said that this is actually on demo at
Essex Spiels in Germany,
right.
The gaming convention going on currently.
So, with all that being said, we can move on to
our scores.
Yay.
Graphics and artwork. Tim, I always let you lead with this one because you're like that's your point that you look at.
Just the first thing that catches my eye whenever I look at a game. And for this one, the graphics and artworks, from my standpoint, what I expect them to be. They're nothing over the top, nothing outrageous, and nothing that is stick figures. So for me, it's right where it needs to be, and it's a solid 3 average with all that.
My idea of graphics and artwork with this, you're right, it was nothing really over the top, but when I looked at it, all the symbols were clear, they were big enough you could understand them. Some of the things it was just, you looked at it, it was like, oh, okay, that makes sense because of the way they made the components. In all actuality, I think you could pretty much throw this out with the quick reference sheet, and based on what they've done with them, I think you could play almost without the rule book. Not completely. Because of that, I gave it a 4. It wasn't stupendously outstanding, but I think it was a cut above the average.
Glenda?
Okay, I gave it a 4. Like you said, actually, I was going to say that what needs to stand out, stood out. All the details on all the, what you need to look for when you're moving or what kind of action you're going to do. So that makes it easier for, for starters or for anybody to play the game. And for me, that counts. And the artwork, it's actually pretty good for the kind of game, and it's not too much, and at the same time it's not too blah. So I gave it a 4.
So, rule book. I can't say anything bad about the rule book. I loved it. I gave it a solid 5. It comes in 3 different languages. I think in all it was 9 pages, 2 of which that you didn't even really need. So in all, actually, it was like 7 pages. And while we were playing the playthrough, which if you guys do take a look at, you'll notice that when we needed to find something in the rulebook, it was pop, pop, pop. I gave it a 5. Glenda?
Oh, me. Oh, I gave it a 4. I can say anything bad. It was just laid out right. You want something to know something, it's there. And I think it's even systematic on how they put it on the book. So I gave it a 4, I guess, because 1 point it's not no perfection on a rule book. So I gave it a 4, and it's high. Pretty good.
The problem with being around other Jedi is that you pick up the thoughts of other Jedi, and that's my thought exactly. Is no, I'm not going to shut up. You can't make a perfect rule book, and having a rule book
Jedi.
that's laid out well, so that when there is a question of gameplay, it's easy to find. This one meets that criteria. I think probably the perfect score for a rule book would be a pop-up rule book / game in the rule book with
Everything,
with
yeah,
slide-
exactly.
I think in fact the perfect rule book would be a foosball table. It's already there. All you need is the ball, and
It's just there. You're just
the
playing
rules are laid out in front of you.
So you gave it?
It's a 4.
All right.
It's a 4.
Components. I originally went with a 3 on components, but I changed to a 4. The reason I was at a 3 is there's nothing really spectacular. The figures have some detail, and I will do a close-up of this, unlike I did with the unboxing. The alien's a perfect example, and I painted it to show that example.
You'll see it.
There's detail, but not a lot. They're just basic playing pieces. The reason I did up the components, though, was the quick reference guide. It was one of those things that you went to the rulebook to elaborate a little bit, but for the most part, that quick reference guide, everything is there. You could have basically taken the rulebook and tossed it once you read through it one time with the quick reference. So that's why I bumped up to a 4 from a 3. Glenda?
Me?
You?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Mine is a 4 too. Nothing really bad about all this stuff. I mean, they needed, it's there. You don't have anything you don't need. Markers, everything. So it's a 4 for me.
Kim.
I think once again, there's no fault. It's good pieces. Everything's laid out well. I gave it a 3 just because that's what a game's supposed to be. The pieces are not highly detailed until you get really up close to them. There are details to it. But I'm somebody that also likes more variety. So, having the same standard figures for every different team.
And just using different colors.
Right, that's a little bit, but other than that, all the game pieces do what they're supposed to do, show what they're supposed to show.
And you can pick them out real fast.
Right, and you can't, and like I said, I can't fault them and say that something was subpar, and I'm not going to say that they were outstanding. So, average is the way I'd go.
So 3, right?
I said 3.
Yep. What did you get on replayability?
5.
5. Replayability, folks. Guys, put them up.
Yeah.
Oh, you meant us?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I didn't pick up the Jedi way.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Replayability, there's no bit scenario based. It's a straightforward game, but with the amount of tiles and that you shuffle them every time, you never know how they're going to come out.
That's right.
You get a choice of 3, or you can put the shuttle out. You've got guaranteed replayability with this game. And I don't even. Do you guys agree totally with that? I think, right? Yeah. So I don't think we really have to go in any more depth.
That's
With
right.
No other explanations are needed. This really is a shoot from the hip game, which goes back to what I was saying at the beginning. There's no scenario. This is how to win a match.
It's
This
not
is
like
how to lose a match.
correct.
And this is how you
Lose.
move per turn, and that's it.
And it's
Go
not
at
like
it.
you can, it's not like so repetitious that you're gonna be, I know what's gonna
Yeah.
be in the next one. It's
Yeah,
like
it's
you walk
always a
into it,
different game.
ta-da, it's a different scenario.
Every time, different game.
Correct.
So fun. I gave it a 4 with fun. The only reason being is that, like you and I were talking, Tim, earlier, it's one of those games that you pull out on a rainy afternoon and you could play it within about a half hour, throw it up and play it. 30 minutes, I think you could play this easily. They say 40 minutes on the box, but I think we did the playthrough in 30. It's not that I didn't like it. It's still a cut above average, but I couldn't say it was just stupendously outstanding that I would throw all my games away just to play this for the rest of my life.
I don't think you
That
would throw
was
your games away for
Forever.
anything.
For anything, right?
Glenda,
All the games?
what'd you give it?
I give it a 5. Maybe because I base it on so differently how you base your force. Okay, me, fun is fun. If it makes me happy, it entertains me, it's fun for me. Like you said, it's in the box. You want to play it? Go ahead, play it. Sun's up, sun's down. Makes you, entertain you.
Why
you're
am I
happy.
thinking Sheryl Crow right now? If it makes me...
Yep, it's a 5.
Tim?
I gave it a 5, just because I enjoy pissing my other players off.
Yeah.
Any game that gives me the ability to screw somebody else over for self-gain, because that is not me in life.
Is it your
That is-
other life?
This is probably when I play Argo, probably another one of my personalities is able to take over and drive for a little while and take out some pent-up aggression
Hey,
on others.
there you go. Argo, like the movie.
Argo Left Yourself.
There
yeah.
you go. So that's Tim.
I'm sorry, guys, that we keep referencing the movie Argo, but for some reason, it so fits.
But exactly in the game, it's just like that. I mean, you're trying to get out.
So, overall, total score of 4.3 out of 5. Not average, not spectacular. It's just right in the middle.
And
Actually, it's above.
I'm gonna say something right now. Is I know a lot of folks, when they see our reviews, they're like, "Hey, these guys, all they do is like games." Well, we're fans,
We are.
and Glenda and I are not this. That's him. Okay, I'm a little over a year of playing these types of games. Glenda, I think, is right about 2 years.
Well, she played games
playing.
before, but it was more like Risk, Monopoly, things like that.
Yeah.
I think it was probably in only about maybe 6 months before you started playing Zombicide,
So,
and
I
she
mean,
went to CMON before you did.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is the whole thing is, we give out good scores because if we sit down and have fun with a game, it's not a situation of, none of these game manufacturers we're not being solicited to do these things.
We're not being paid to do this
We're
thing.
sitting down and playing games that somebody has purchased and determining whether we
All the
had fun with
time.
it or not.
Exactly.
Now, actually, when I pledged on this on Kickstarter, reality, I was like, and I was like, it was the price. It was just cheap, and I was like, it'd be something just to, as Glenda says, doing a channel like this, you gotta continue doing videos. So it was kind of like, okay, well, it'll just be something to unbox, and it's not really expensive. I honestly didn't think I'd have as much fun. Now, one thing I would like to see with it is I would like to see an expansion come out where you can play more than 4 players, because our group is 5. And sometimes our kids play and it bumps it up even more, or Harry comes over, or Ed plays. So a 2 to 4 player game is actually kind of hard for our group.
There's a lot of games on there.
But I would like to see expansion come out where you could play maybe a 5th or 6th player, or the different rooms that they're going to bring out with the stretch goals, or a couple of different characters on the board.
That's what I was saying. Is I would agree if there were some different characters that you could add in and make your best team or whatever.
I think that would be interesting because right now you got what 5.
4 out of 5 can only move 1 tile at a time.
Well, think about it. You got 5. They all got different abilities.
Yeah.
But if you added a sixth in here, but you had to choose which 5 you want.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
That would make a big difference.
Yeah, and then because you've got, like I said, these guys move 1. This one moves 2. This one isn't seen by aliens. This one can kill aliens. This one gets 2 points. This one can take off in a.
Well, actually, no. This
themselves.
one doubles when they go in the warehouse.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah, it's the only average.
But
of course it worked out for me really well in that last game. Yeah.
But I mean, it's a great game. There's a lot of potential with it. I'm hoping that Flatlined Games will invest a little bit more time and money into,
and maybe just make even just a small expansion.
Yeah, I mean, because the overall fun factor of this game,
That's there.
it really is. Yeah, it's absolutely there.
So anyways, guys, that is Argo from Flatline Games. Total score 1 through 5, we gave it a 4.3. As always, guys, I'm Eric.
I'm Glenda.
He's Tim. We are D&E Miniature and Board Games. As always, guys, game on.
Game on.
Game on, folks.